Welcome to Sports Desk Live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on Facebook. I'm your host, Ed Nunez. Along with our producer, Alden Iwani, our special guest today is Albuquerque Academy head football coach, Shaun Gehres. And Coach, thanks so much for being on the program.
Of course. Thanks for the invite. Looking forward to it.
You know, Coach, you're a teacher at one of the higher institutions of learning there is, man. I remember when Mike Brown, I was an eighth grader at Holy Ghost, and he wanted me to take a tour of the academy. And back then, even back then, I was overwhelmed with the academics. I really was. It was a great tour, but I remember you're coming out of there like, could I handle that? And I didn't know. I think it scared me a little bit. You know, it did. But it's a great school. It's a great facility. It's a great institution. And how many years have you been teaching there now?
So I just finished up my 10th year of teaching here. I just moved out of the classroom this summer, and so now I'm actually working in the admissions department. But academics is definitely part of the package that we offer here at the school. Obviously, a lot of people know about the school because of the academics, but we really just offer a well-rounded experience for a lot of our students and families. It's not really only the students. Obviously that's a big part of our school, but it's really about the community. And so we try to offer as many things and try to do things well, even outside of the classroom.
This is incredible. I have all the respect in the world. I've known a lot of people who have gone to the academy and, of course, succeeded. That's what they put you in place to do. No question about it. So that you teach there and you're taking time out from your busy teaching schedule, we appreciate it. But Coach, we want to go back to Saturday, Academy 21-20 victory over Hope. And you come off two games where you would have 50-pointed opponents. And, I talked to you before the game on Saturday. You were kind enough to give me about 10 minutes before the game Saturday morning. And I got to say that you mentioned that those two 50-point games, you didn't get the reps that they usually do because games are over. They're over a little quicker. This game here was a slog fest, man. Roger Holney and I called it a slog fest, right? Now, there's a lot of offense going on in the first quarter, but then I thought the defense's Hope went to a four-man line and kind of changed things a little bit defensively as far as the pressure they put on Andres Rivera. But talk a little bit about it from your point of view and how the game went again, Academy 3-0.
Yeah, so we knew coming into the game that it was going to be a full game for us, and at least this year it was going to be uncharted waters. Again, given the first couple games, not getting into the second half, and so conditioning was one of our biggest emphasis points. You can condition at practice, but trying to simulate a full game is not realistic at practice, right? And so we knew that was going to be one of the things that we'd had to overcome. And so that was just a big reminder that we had to our players at halftime. The first half was just really, really back and forth. A lot of big plays on both sides of the football. We gave up, a couple opportunities, in the red zone that, looking back now, it's easy to kind of play, after the fact and saying like, oh, we should have did this, we should have did that. But, I think our players are going to adjust from that now, knowing that they've been in that situation. And so I also think that as coaches, we're going to be able to adjust a little bit differently, understanding what our players can actually do in those moments. And again, in the first couple games, we really didn't have to make as many adjustments as we did in this game. So the first half, a lot of offense on both sides. Hope definitely, moved the ball on us quite a bit. And, we had some miscommunications, on a few things that we did get it cleaned up, at halftime. And then the second half was real quiet overall. I mean, they had the first drive where they went down and scored off after that onside kick. And then defensively, we kind of hunkered down, and then offensively, we had a couple opportunities again. We moved the ball well, and then just punching it in. Hope just they definitely did their scouting report, and they were able to come up with a couple big interceptions. That just kind of took a little bit of the momentum away from us.
I thought that, again, the opening drive of the game, you drove at will. You got to the 4-yard line, and that's where the drive stalled. A couple of calls in the red zone, and there's always Monday morning quarterbacking from everybody, right? From your fans, your parents, everybody is going to Monday morning quarterback unless they're on the sideline with the headsets on, man. Anybody can Monday morning quarterback. Everybody does. Everybody does it, right?
Yeah.
Now, so, but again, I thought the first drive, Andres Rivera, let's remember this kid is a junior now, and you mentioned to me. Now we're going to read some stats here, and he's 31 of 38 for the year, 682 yards, 139.8 quarterback rating, which, heck, I don't know if Tom Brady has that. That's amazing, right? It's amazing through 3 games. But you said this to me on Saturday morning, that the game has slowed down for him, that he's really matured. You felt like he's really coming into his own. We saw him make some good throws. We saw him when he was under pressure throw off his back foot and kind of throw things up for grabs a couple of times. But overall, how would you assess his performance? In this game, he's challenged. They're hitting him in the mouth, man. This ain't no 50-point victory, right? And those things are going to happen. And I always say it's great to get your teams challenged. We want to know where we are, right? How did you assess his performance after Saturday's game?
Well, obviously, well, the way AJ's programmed, he's always going to be harder on himself than we are. I mean, obviously, we have high expectations of him. We've given him the green light to do some things that maybe we didn't allow him to do in the past. And so, like I said, he's harder on himself. But I still think from a development standpoint, he needed a game like that where he was going to face a little bit of adversity, and then to be able to go back and look at the film and look at the things that he can correct. I have 100% faith in him that given those situations again in a game, he's gonna be better about making the right decisions of putting our offense in a position to be successful. Is he going to be 100% right? I mean, you never know. I mean, that's part of the reason why we run plays. And, once that ball leaves his hands, I mean, it's still up to receivers to go get the ball. It's, is it the other team makes a great play? So I know there's a couple throws in there that he would want back. But overall, he's progressing the way we want him to progress. We want him to continue to get better each week. We definitely don't want him peaking out in week 3. So we definitely, see a lot of room for improvement, but he definitely is further along overall, being a junior than we've ever expected our quarterbacks to be at this point.
Shortened season last year, and it seemed, I told Roger Holian, who did the game with me, that it just seemed like we were there 5 months ago because we were just there 4 or 5 months ago. And Hope beat you that afternoon 4-7. But you mentioned to me that this summer was a big transition for the academy. Academy has had some successful football seasons for sure, but it seems that you took that momentum during the spring season. You mentioned a lot of the players really bought into 7-on-7s. They brought into your off-season workout program, and the Chargers with that right now are 3-0. They're playing very well so far.
Yeah. So where we're sitting with that, I mean, we thank the players pretty much every day for putting in the work, like you just mentioned, in the off season, and then doing the 7-on-7. Even with the 7-on-7, our linemen were out there doing lineman challenges, and so for them to be willing to give up their time to put in the extra work, they're going to start to see. They're going to see the rewards of that is starting to pay off. And I think they're noticing that. And I think that's definitely a sprinkle down effect to the rest of the program, especially with the younger guys, about, making that commitment and putting that extra work in order to have success. Because I think every team, every high school program, every team, a lot of the players are there for the social piece of it, but it still feels good for them to win, right? And so I think every team goes out on game day, and their goal is to try to win the game. And unfortunately, just the way it's designed, someone's going to lose. And so I think showing and living it and seeing that, if you're willing to put that work in, there's a benefit at the end. And there's also the individual satisfaction that, you can make a commitment and you can see individual improvements as well. But coming out of the spring, we did have some momentum. one of my biggest worries was the short turnaround, because I know, just from a burnout standpoint with COVID and everything, I think a lot of our athletes were just tired in general, not just from playing sports, but just in general with, what we're kind of going through right now. So
a lot of starting and stopping, things like that. And then sports were all kind of crammed into one short season. And then we're not complaining, right? Everybody's happy that there was a season, because I'll tell you, for a while there, I didn't think it was going to happen. I really didn't. It was something, I'm glad that it did for all the kids. And I think it was great, I'm sure you would agree, for your football program to get those 3 games in. But I'll tell you, when we come back, we've got some more stats. And we're going to talk about your son, Kellen Gehres, who's definitely one of the better receivers out there. But I'm impressed with your defensive unit too. You got some real size on the defensive line, and they played. It was a hot afternoon out there at the academy. You had to rotate a lot of people. Riley Bleicher spelled your son for a while. Thought he did a good job when he came in. So when we get back, we'll talk more about that. When we get back on the sports desk, also on the Mexico Sports Network, after these messages on the sports desk.
Second down. Pretty going deep, and he is gonna get him. It's a touchdown for Zach Feehill.
I don't know. I just don't know how you allow.
Avoided a near mistake by her team as her libero Dunn was out there. Meyer.
Field goal, long field goal. Looks like about a 35-yard field goal. Ball's placed down, and it looks long enough, and it's good. Wow. Beautiful kick by Logan Fuller from the 35-yard line.
Got single coverage on the right side there.
Yep.
Safety back to pass,
He's
looking
looking
to his
left.
left.
Now he's looking back.
Steps up in the
some
pocket.
pressure.
He's got time.
He's
Steps
gonna
up,
throw-
throws, got a
look,
receiver.
wide open.
Wide open to Koash. Koash, he voids the tackler. He's down at the 10-yarder. That's huge.
It's the junior. Two-step drop. Looking to score. He's being pursued. Gives the ball up. Huskies come up with the ball. Man, oh man. Big run by Feehill.
Long run, Feehill. He's gonna go over 100 now because he's gonna go all the way. This time for the house call. It's actually Rice's 3rd touchdown of the night.
One of his best friends. So there's a kick, and it's a squibber, and it's going to be caught on the run by Esparza again, trying to set up return right. Esparza trying to cut it back upfield. Still on his feet. He's got some blocks. He's got the edge there. Cuts it back inside. Esparza could be on his way to a touchdown. One man to beat. Esparza down the right sideline. He's going to score on an 80-yard kick.
And there we go, wide receiver screen once again. That picks up the first down, squirting out. And look at this, here we go. And he's taking off like nobody's business. And it's could be, this is going to easily go. Boom, touchdown.
Gerardo, late addition to the game for the Monarchs. The late blitz from 92. Long down the middle, he has his man. It's Cordova. And you can kiss that one goodbye. 89-yard touchdown pass, Gerardo to Cordova.
He just has failed to run in for a touchdown twice. Keep an eye on the man to the left of Davis. No, instead they go the other way to Dello Davis. He's in trouble, throws, and the pass is caught by Elmore in the end zone. And at the buzzer, Duke City ties the game at 33.
That was a great play.
Welcome back to the Sports Desk Live on Comcast Channel 26, also on the Mexico Sports Network, streamed on Facebook. I'm your host, Ed Nunez, along with our producer, Alden Niawani. Our special guest today, Albuquerque Academy head football coach, Shaun Gehres. And Coach, again, the Chargers are 3-0. They've got Bloomfield coming up this week, and Bloomfield is 3-0. They played Hope. They played St. Pius. This should be a pretty good matchup and another good test for the Chargers.
Yeah, most definitely. I think going back-to-back weeks with Hope and Bloomfield, Bloomfield and Hope played the prior week, and Bloomfield came out and they controlled that game, and it was a competitive game. It was fun to watch, and so we're hoping we can get our guys refocused and ready to get some work in this week. Bloomfield is very well respected in our 4A division, just especially with how well they're coached, and so we know that. We know we're going to have to put together a really great game plan, and hopefully we match up well with them. And again, it's early in the season, so for us, it's just another opportunity to just kind of see where we're at as a group, and then continue to make adjustments so that our team, continues to build throughout the season. So we're real excited about being able to go up there and play. We know the atmosphere is going to be wonderful for a Friday night game. It'll be their homecoming, so the crowd should be nice and loud. And but for our players, we need to know what those kind of moments feel like. And like I said, I'd rather have these feelings early in the season, so then that way as we get further along, again, these are all just experiences that our players are going to be able to draw upon later down the road.
Only makes you better, there's no question. The ambiance at Academy on Saturday, that's one of the best atmospheres. You got people sitting all around, right? All around the track. You got umbrellas. And let's mention the track, the improvements that were made there. You've got a video board now. Just looks beautiful, right? It was great. The band was there. I don't think you could have asked for a better atmosphere for a football game than we had at the Academy on Saturday night. And I want to go over some more statistics. Your son, Kellen Gehres, he's one of your best receivers. 11 receptions for 316 yards, 28.7 yards per catch. That's incredible. Of course, he slowed down in the second half. He slowed down. They did a better job on him. I think he had 6 catches for 120 in the first half, and I think he slowed down a little bit after that, but they did a good job on him. The other guy that we want to talk about is your tight end, Tyler Wilson, and you can split him out wide too. You can split him out wide, and he goes in tight. He made some good catches. He's got 7 for 126 on this season, 42 yards per game average. Talk a little bit about those two players.
Sure. I'll talk about Kellen first. So Kellen, one of our biggest challenges with him this year for him was to really concentrate on yards after catch. And so that's something that he prided himself on in the off season, to really think about, after a catch, how to make the first guy miss. And then, obviously, continue to gain yards. So yeah, he's come out really so far at the beginning of the season. Again, a lot of the work that all of our players put into the off season, he's just a good example of that as well. I think all of our players are seeing some individual improvement from where they left off in the spring. But yeah, no, he's a consistent target. I think a lot of teams know that. And so, he has to figure out ways to continue to get the ball. And so you also notice him as a punt returner as well. That's something that he kind of slid into right at the end of the spring season. And now, I think he really enjoys that opportunity to just get the ball in his hands, an extra touch or two a game. So yeah, and AJ, our quarterback, really does, enjoy. Really, he loves all of our receivers. But him and Kellen have been playing together for a long time, so it's nice to see that chemistry to continue to build. Tyler, like you mentioned, he's our tight end. Just depending on the set, that.
Seem to have lost contact with Coach Gehres here. We'll be patient until his connection comes back.
Break.
We'll take a short break and be back after these messages on the Sports Desk. There you are.
All right, there we go.
Second down.
Yeah, I don't
Ready,
know.
going
I apologize
deep,
for that.
and he
No,
is
don't worry about
gonna
it.
Get him. It's a touchdown for Zach Feehill.
I don't know. I just don't know how you allow.
Avoided a near mistake by her team as her libero Dunn was out there. Meyer.
Field goal, long field goal. Looks like about a 35-yard field goal. Ball's placed down, and it looks long enough, and it's good. Wow. Beautiful kick by Logan Fuller from the 35-yard line.
Got single coverage on the right side there.
Yep.
Safety back to
He's
pass,
looking
looking to his left.
Now he's looking back.
Steps up in the
some
pocket.
pressure.
He's got time.
He's gonna
Steps up,
throw it.
throws,
Oh,
got a
look,
receiver.
wide open.
Wide open to Koash. Koash, he voids the tackler. He's down at the 10-yarder. That's huge.
It's the junior.
That's what Academy head coach, football coach Shaun Gehres, and coach, you were talking about Tyler Wilson, the tight end. You were talking about his development.
Yeah, and so Tyler, he's a real big body kid. He's about 6'3", about 215, and so we do line him up at tight end, but we do like to slide him out because we know he can be a real mismatch problem for a lot of DBs. And so Tyler, he's really started to come on, against Hope. He was a huge part of what we were game planning. And he's kind of back into his rhythm now. So, we look forward to we look forward to continuing, his development and getting him the ball a little bit more frequently.
Now, we don't want to go forward without talking about your defense. So I think, everybody knows about the Whitakers, right? Brody Whitaker is the sophomore. He's 5'10", 245 pounds. And his brother Tanner, the senior defensive end, he's 5'8", 220. We know about them. They're disruptors. They're going to make their plays, and they did. Those guys were some large guys. Now, Michael Hewlett, you list him at 175. There's no way.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah, there's no way, man.
Yeah.
I looked at Michael Hewlett, number 55, who's your middle linebacker. He's got to go 225, 230, easy.
Oh yeah, no, most definitely. So yeah, we're pretty beefy up front. Anything inside the box, we're pretty. I mean, we got 6-7 dudes that are over 200 pounds easily. Most of them kind of 220 to 250 range. We just haven't updated Michael's stats yet.
I looked at that guy. There's no way
maybe
that dude is.
that's a little bit misleading. Yeah. But no, I think our defense every week, our coordinator David Lee does a great job of prepping them. I just think we're a real solid crew on that side of the ball. One of the big things that I mentioned last week is, for them, it's really about just the passion and the hustle of wanting to just play physical. And so that's something that, hopefully we don't lose, and we'll continue to build actually and get these guys more excited and ready each week.
You had two guys, you had players playing both ways. We mentioned Riley Bleicher came in and did a good job. Had to come in for your son at cornerback. I thought he came in at running back. You used the I formation in the third quarter, which you hadn't done much of. The other guy we want to talk about is I thought number 71, as the game went on, Clark Hager on the defensive line was snatching guys by the jersey. That guy's stronger than heck. I thought he played a very good game in the third and fourth quarter. He's the senior defensive end. He's 6'2", no weight listed on Clark Hager, but that guy's got to go about 250, 255.
Yeah, actually, I think Clark's actually a little lighter. He's a wrestler, so he cuts a lot of weight in the winter. So he's probably at about 215, 220 right now. But no, he definitely had a real solid game for us. And a lot of those guys up front play both ways. Like Brody Whitaker plays on the O-line along with Clark, and then John Davis floats, and Michael Hewlett does the same. We just try to create a rotation for them to make sure that they can get a spell every once in a while. But Clark, he's been a 4-year starter in our program. So he's continued to develop, and he's figured it out, and he's playing really well. And so that kind of leadership on the field in terms of not just listening and hearing him say things, for him to actually go out and make these plays, I think is really, really encouraging, especially for our younger players to see him practicing what he preaches.
Yeah, he played very well. And there's one more guy that we want to mention, and we don't want to not mention him because he played very well. He's our Jackson Compaction player of the game. That's running back Cole Conway, 26 carries for 278 yards, 10.7 average. And he finished the game off with what we call dirty runs. He got the yards, killed the clock. Talk a little bit about him, and we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, sure. And so Cole's one of those players that physically he's very gifted, and he's blessed to have the body type that he does. And one of our goals this year was really to help him understand how to run the football. Last year a little bit in the backfield, and he would lose a lot of the momentum, which, because of his size, he should use that as an advantage. So just running over his pads, lower pad level. He was just grinding it out this weekend. Super proud of the adjustment he made after the first couple series in terms of how hard he was running. And did a lot of the dirty work, 3, 4, 5 yards here and there. And then, of course, on that last drive where we were able to take a knee, we needed to pick up that first down. And he carried, 6, 7, 8 players for a good, 5 or 6 extra yards after contact. And so, that just, I think, was a big boost of confidence for him. And I'm hoping that, we can carry that momentum with him and continue to rely on him, to run as hard as he's been running.
He got stronger and finished runs during the end of a hot, contentious, what we called a slogfest for sure, but Academy came out on top 21-20. Academy head football coach Shaun Gehres, we wish you the best of luck this weekend against Bloomfield. Thanks so much for being on with us.
Thank you, Ed. Always appreciate it.
You bet. For producer Aldi Niwani, I'm Ed Nunez. We'll see you next week on the Sports Desk. Hey, Coach, great job.